Bramborough back with some Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. This is an Austria-Hungary campaign that we began in 1910, and we're just about 3 years into it because we're about to cross into 1913. We've been at war with France for a little over a year, I think, and there is no French presence in the East Med, and we don't have any ports. So basically not much presence in the West Med ourselves. So the only fighting that occurs is when a task force from one navy or the other crosses into the other power's home waters. And we've done a little bit of that. We've fought a couple battles over here in the West Med, and the French did come over into the Adriatic, much to their chagrin. Right now I don't have any task forces out, but we'll do something about that shortly, I think. As you can see here, as far as victory points, yeah, the war is going pretty well for us. Our battle cruisers in particular have proven pretty effective against pretty much everything that the French throw at us. And our destroyers have done some good work as well, although not without loss. What we have not seen in combat yet are our power projection optimized cruisers, which I designed with an eye simply toward boosting this power projection number at the bottom of this window. Not optimized for combat at all. It was the most tonnage I could get for the cheapest amount of money. That's it. Solely for this purpose. And so, you know, they don't have they've got thick armor but low quality armor. They're not particularly fast. They don't have a lot of protective things like anti-torp, anti-flooding. They have no citadel. I did try to make them pretty decent at shooting. You know, so they've got rangefinders and stuff like that. So the idea was that they're not really intended for a lot of tactical battle combat. However, you know, ideally they would do okay if they got pulled into such a battle. So I think let's see how they do. Here, I mean, we're probably in the waning stages of this war with France. The French Navy has pretty much been destroyed. We had a lot to do with that. However, they've been fighting Italy and Germany as well, so that probably hasn't helped them out either. But before the war ends, yeah, we'll send some of our heavy cruisers over here. Just try to find a fight with somebody and see how they do. Before we do that, though, we haven't looked at, let's have a look at research. Haven't looked at that in a little while. Let's see if there's anything juicy coming up in the near future. 10 months, some engine improvements, geared steam turbines. Okay, that's good. It's going to drop weight. It's going to be enormously expensive. Fuel burners, fuel oil burners. And I don't know precisely what this means. It doesn't. This tooltip doesn't specifically say so, but I wonder if this transitions us into full, you know, the oil technology available in ship design. We'll have to see how that pans out. Right now we are on semi-oil, which I don't know exactly what that means, to be honest. Is that oil? Okay. Semi-oil probably came with oil-fired boilers. Fuel oil burners is probably going to give us the full oil tech, I would guess. We'll see. Got another level of aux engine coming in 7 months. New designs will get a little bit lighter and get constructed a little bit faster in about 11 months. Stereoscopic 3 coming in 13 months. This is actually, you know, you get the gun aiming speed and a big boost to long range accuracy. This is one that I would probably, when this pops, I'll probably put our capital ships into refit for that. It is going to add some weight, so we may have to jiggle a little bit with it. When that time comes, though, maybe we can pop some of this other stuff on as well. We'll see how that goes. But this, I think this one is big enough to trigger a, okay, we're going to refit just for that. We've already got the Mark I 14-inch, and in 9 months, we're going to get the Mark II 14-inch. So we're getting close to a time when I may start rethinking and looking at some of the bigger guns above the 12-inch that I typically prefer in this time frame. And we've got a Mark III 4-inch gun coming real soon, 2 months. That'll be nice to have. Torpedo tubes in another few months, 8 months there, I think that says. A little bit better torpedo launchers. What we don't have yet are the triple launchers, which I would kind of like to have for the DDs. We've only got twins and don't have triples, which is a little randomized. Sometimes I start in 1910 and the triple is already available. So, you know, it's showing here of this progress as we've unlocked techs, and much of this, you know, was calculated before 1910 as the game put together starting in 1890 calculations. But this isn't fixed, right? There's some RNG to this. In other versions, we would already have triple, or, you know, and so it's not always the same, the order in which these techs are unlocked. At least I don't think it is. And then I'll just mention here, because I see comments in Steam and on videos and whatever asking about submarines. Submarines are not yet implemented in the game. All of these techs here don't have an effect. That is, you know, the game is still early access and all that sort of thing. Not implemented yet. My understanding is that they're going to be somewhat abstract. They'll have an effect on the campaign map. They will affect those monthly transport losses. May have some effect on power projection numbers. I don't know. But it's not, if I understand correctly, I don't think we're going to be able to build, you know, design individual submarines and sell them in tactical, you know, use them in tactical battles. I don't think that's going to be a thing. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. And then some of these down here in naval tactics, I don't, you know, mines are not implemented yet. And because there's no submarines, one would presume that ASW, well, let's see, hydrophones, that's in the game for torpedo detection. And then this maneuver warfare improves initial crew training, reduces crew training time, improves naval block. I don't know if this one, it says work in progress to do, but I don't know if this is implemented yet or not. Okay, I had mentioned in a previous episode that while I was designing some refits to deal with the 1.08 hotfix that I had also just gone ahead and designed a battleship, which I did not talk about. So let's have a look at that. Just do the view. There is a pair of these building now. Okay, so we've got 2 of these on the way. There's what she looks like. Okay, 42,000 tons. I didn't make her that fast. She's 25 knots, medium range, mini bulkheads. I maxed out the beam and I minimized the draft. Why did I do that? Because that makes the gun more stable and improves accuracy. It also, the lower draft also, I think, brings down the target signature a little bit. I mean, it's still a battleship. It's still enormous. But against other battleships and battle cruisers, low draft will lower the target signature just a little bit, so that maybe it'll shorten that time gap. When they can see us, we can't see them. And they're shooting and we're not. Is that the main reason I lowered the draft? No, I did it for accuracy. But it's a little side benefit that could buy us a few seconds here and there, perhaps. Most of the components are you know, I spent money on her. Best fuel. I went with induced. I didn't feel a need to go forced. Turbine engines. Aux 1, shaft 1. You know, it was the best that was available. I always like to use the unbalanced rudder. And I do that because torpedoes are a thing. And when you need to turn, you need to turn. And we even give up a little bit of rudder shift speed and max angle. However, it improves the turning rate, tightens that turning circle. Best available armor, best available barbette, anti-torp, anti-flood, reinforced bulkheads, double bottom, best citadel. Kind of half and half for main shells, max HE on the secondary shells. Best, no, I think I might have, okay, I think I messed up on the HE. I don't know if I meant to do this or not. But the best available AP, heavy, increased. We have a lot, you know, we don't have that many ships, particularly for our combat forces. So just about every battle we fight, we are outnumbered. And so I went ahead with the increased amount of ammo. Ballistite was the kind of the least flammable for flash fire. Propellant available, TNT 2. Advanced hydraulic turrets, enhanced reloading, the best stereoscopic available. I'm pretty interested to get that stereoscopic 3 here. An advanced radio for gun aiming speed. And also because there's a buff to being within range of a flagship. And in any fight where this BB is going to be in with other ships of our Navy, it's going to be the flagship. So, worth doing, I thought. There you can see the armor layouts. And 12.9, you know, I maxed out the caliber available for the 12-inch gun and lengthened them to 20%. And then we have some 4.9 guns in the casemates, and there's a few 2.9s up here in the superstructure. You see our pitch and roll's pretty good, 20 and 12. Minus 11 smoke interference. and that is and still has 100% engine efficiency. And that, I think that primarily comes from the fact that, I could have made her a little bit faster than she is, but the modest speed is, I think, giving us that 100% engine efficiency with negative smoke interference, which isn't a bonus, right? It just means that we're zero. That is still not a great turning circle, even with the unbalanced rudder, and that is because of the wide beam, I think. There's the accuracy numbers. The anti-torpedo gives us a bonus to torpedo damage received. Do have a 25% flash fire chance, but I think with our armor layout, this thing ought to do fine. Ought to. So there it is. This is the it's a mouthful of a class name. Crown Prince, I don't even know how to say these. Crown Prince Rudolph is what I'm calling it. I don't even know what Erzherzog means. I don't know if that's part of the title or if that's his first given name. Crown Prince Rudolph is the name of this ship and the name of the class. One person in the comments did ask, hey, great Austrian Admiral, our great naval hero, a fellow named, I hope I can say this correctly, Tegetov. Is that close? Can we name a ship after him? And I think we can. I think there actually was an Austrian dreadnought named the Tegetov. So Würzburg was a placeholder name. That's why I'm playing this. She's not completed yet. Word has come down from the Emperor and the Admiralty that the so-called Würzburg is going to commission as the Tegetov. Hopefully I spelled it correctly. Is that right? There we go. All right. Those are still 19 months away. I don't think they're going to get in on this war. The war may still be going. I just don't know if there's going to be any French ships left to sink by the time those things commission. Let's put together... There's some CAs here. Let's put together a few... We'll send 3 over there. We're getting 2846 power projection with 3 of those CAs. So we're getting just about 950. I think it's 948 power projection per ship. Which, just for comparison's sake, we get 1125 power projection with the Linz-class battlecruiser. But of course, those ships are way more expensive. They're about yeah, those are $50 million ships. So we're getting 1125 with these at 51 million, and we're getting 948 with these for 11 million. So we're paying a lot less per point of power projection with these ships than we are with the battlecruisers. And that's why I built them the way I did. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a fight here. Okay, that's not a very intuitive term for that role. You know, I see invade and I'm thinking power projection ashore, like supporting amphibious forces. But no, this is a counter merchant setting, apparently. Reading this tooltip, that's all I know about it, is what I'm reading right here. Maximizes capability against enemy merchant ships while reducing defense against enemy attacks on your own transports. More useful when your task force is operating at distant enemy waters where own transports are not likely to be found. Well, that, I think, describes the Western Med relative to us. Expected to have more enemy transport sinkings per month, but can lead to more losses of your own transports. Not in this sea region because we don't have any. We haven't lost a transport this entire war that I've seen. Well, maybe this will goad the French into attacking them, perhaps. Let's see right where they are. See if that does anything. Okay. Improved relations with Britain in the East Med. Looks like we got some kind of fight here. Okay, they want to make peace again. They don't have any capital ships left. I'm kind of inclined to let them off. Their navy is virtually destroyed. And I'm kind of interested to see what effect that has on relations. How far do tensions drop after a peace treaty? I haven't seen that yet. I'd kind of like to see. I'm going to go ahead and recommend to the PM that we agree to this. Which does not mean that the war doesn't continue while the diplomats bicker wherever they're negotiating. So we have a fight here. Our 3 heavy cruisers, which are not that great, are fighting a French heavy cruiser here. Okay, they see us. We do have a pretty high target signature because these ships, unlike what I like to do with others, these ships have a high draft. And I did that because that increases range. Alright. Let's just turn the line in order to get all of our main guns firing. We're even in range for the 1.1s. Not quite identified yet. 41%. Let's have a look at the enemy. Well, we're beating them up pretty good. There's the French cruiser with that excessive tumble home. It's already hard to there's a lot of fires kind of obscuring what she looks like. She has 7.1-inch guns, which is seen up, here in their shoot info, right here. Massive, massive accuracy penalty from hull stability and tower. Does it have torpedoes? We don't know. Hope not, because we're getting pretty close to it. Got great hit percentages, accuracy percentages, even with the high draft. And you can see there, under our shooting info, we don't have big buffs in hull stability. We got actually a little bit of nerfs in hull stability and tower. But she doesn't have all the bells and whistles. But we're so close, yeah. She's got really good accuracy with the 6.9s, and with the 4s, and with the casemate 1.1s. Spilato's taking a little bit of damage here. Looks worse than it is. For that matter, though, the French ship really doesn't look all that terrible either. Ooh, she does have torpedoes. Oh. Okay, well, she hadn't taken that much structural damage, but we set so many fires. She just burned up. Main gun accuracy, 42%, 50%, 36%. And pretty good secondary accuracies too. Whereas 2% on the main gun accuracy for Embuscade. Light damage to 2 of our cruisers. But now one would think that if we were on invade stance that we'd see some French merchants lost in the West Med. Guess not. Or maybe they did not because of the battle. And looks like that sent the entire task force home. Yeah, Spilato repairing, Tiger repairing, but Carinthia went home with them. Okay. Well, that makes sense, right? Just 1 month on those 2 cruisers. Only 1 month left for Loudon, and then we'll have all 6 of our battle cruisers back in action. We don't need these on sea control at the moment. We'll send them back over in a bit. Down to 14 months on our 2 Dreadnoughts. We've got all of our Pandur-class destroyers available now. They are in Spilato. Got 1 squad. I'm just arbitrarily setting a squadron size of 6 DDs. It could be 4, it could be 8, it could be 53, whatever one likes. I'm going with 6. So we've got 1 destroyer squadron at Spilato. These are the newer ones, the 1300 tonners. And we've got a squadron of the older Balatons at Kataro, with the other Balatons having all been sunk, torpedoing a battleship. And yeah, these guys are all there at Pula, D6 through 11. So let's send some of these guys. Where are they? They're at Spilato. Let's send these destroyers over here to do some commerce raiding in the West Med. If the war continues. That may not. And when they get over here, we'll put them on invade stance. Okay. German Empire is dissolved due to economic collapse. Well, that is going to have some geopolitical impacts. Maybe we better get friendly with England. And that's interesting. See? We recommended agree to end the war. Our government chose otherwise. The war continues. And relations improve with Britain. Depth charges irrelevant, I think. Okay, well there's a transport loss in the West Med for France. I mean, the Italians could have done that. Let's put these guys on invade. What you going to do about it, French? And let's see here. What do they have available in the West Med? They're down to 3 heavy cruisers, 8 light cruisers, and 4 DDs. And even though the German Empire has dissolved, apparently there's a German destroyer running around over here somewhere. It's over here, I guess. So does it? Yeah. And then here's some German ships that are just apparently don't have a home to go to. And the big war, the one that was actually reflected up here in the upper left of the monitor, that's no longer being shown. We do have our war continuing with France here. Let's go up here by these French ports. Bound to find a fight, right? Okay, our destroyer squadron of the 6 Pandours is going up against a light cruiser and 2 DDs. And these are our newer ones. They're bigger, but they're actually not quite as heavily armed as the earlier destroyers. I only put 1 torpedo launcher on them instead of 2. And they have 4 instead of 5 3-inch guns. 3.9-inch guns. I want to turn all the torps off. Where's the smoke? To the northwest. I'm kind of interested to see if they can get it done completely with gunfire without using torpedoes. If they can find them. Let's kick the A on real quick. AI on. Nope. We just dropped a ×5, which means that they can probably see us. There we go. Oh my god. Man, that was close. And I think we're about to get... Ooh, squeaked by. Collision. Ow! Ow! Lucky. Yeah, I may have played a little bit too fast and loose with the time compression there. Oh, there's another. That should be a cruiser, right? Yeah, that's a light cruiser. And slow everybody down for accuracy purposes. Cruise speed. We can smoke though. So here's what these new Pandur-class look like. And this, let me go to the other one since it doesn't have smoke. So we got two 3.9s forward, two 3.9s aft, and there's the... Well, I did put two torpedo launchers on them, but they're side by side. So the idea is you run by, you make your two torpedo attack, and then flip around to unmask the other battery. So it's two separate shots, but basically 4 torpedoes in one attack before disengaging to reload. Whereas the Balaton class had those same two launchers center line, which means that they were firing all 4 torpedoes at one time. Okay, how are we doing against this? Well, we're hitting her pretty good, and there's a lot of fires going on over there. She's taking 20% crew losses too. About 30%-ish on the hit percentage with our 3.9s. Which is pretty good considering that both we and the target have smoke up. Given how fast everything was happening at the beginning, because I didn't slow time down enough, it's pretty amazing none of our ships took a torpedo in there. Ship to Renault. Beat up pretty good here. Lost most of her structure, 25% structure, tons of fires raging. And actually, her biggest problem is crew losses, 39.9. And I think it's 45% when the crew will surrender, I think. I mean, they don't really... It says surrender, it's the mechanic, name of the mechanic, but it's not like you get the ship or anything, so it's really... I think they should have called it scuttled, the ship, but yeah, as the case may be. She's at 41.2% losses, down to 19% structure. Honestly, don't know if she's going to lose because of extensive fire or because of crew losses first, or structure. It's a race. It's a race between fire, surrender, and structure loss. Extensive fire wins. Okay, yeah. Good main gun accuracies on most of the ships. 34%, 40%. The further a ship is, the further a ship is toward the rear of its division, typically the worse the accuracy tends to be in the results, because A, they're maneuvering more, trying to maintain their station in the line, and also because they're usually just farther away during the opening stages of the shooting. So both of those kind of tend to drag their accuracy down a little bit. But overall, I'd say that the 3.9-inch guns on both of our destroyer classes have done quite well. Okay, they lost another transport in the West Med. Okay, well, I think that will do for this episode as war continues with France, even though we, the Navy, recommended against it, you know. So the Emperor's making us continue to fight this war despite our own wishes. Okay, well, that's fine too. Oh, and the war is back. Whoa, what is going on here? What is going on here? Apparently, we are now at war, allied with Britain and France against Italy. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What's the politics situation? We remain at 95 with Italy. We're not allied. We're certainly not allied with France. I mean, we're at war with France. And while we have it's not that our relations are improving. Well, they are. But we're still at poor relations with Britain. Just not quite as poor as before. Yet we're in a war with them on our side against Italy. This makes zero sense up here. Well, I'm not going to figure it out during this episode. If you like what we're doing with the channel, if you like the content, then leave a like, leave a comment, perhaps even subscribe if that strikes your fancy. If you'd like to see the other episodes in this series as it continues, if you haven't seen the other ones, I'm linking a playlist here to this Austro-Hungarian series in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. At any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.